This is our Delegate Chang and Delegate Wu summer internship presentation by Team E, the finance team. This is a quick introduction about everything regarding the presentation and our section within the 90-day report, part I, and it was submitted by me, Declan McMahon, Kyle Lee, who unfortunately couldn't be here today because he's in a, to put it bluntly, he's in a foreign country and doesn't have internet. Um, Steve Kim and Jinu Kong. Um, so first bill is Senate Bill 662 slash House Bill 1355, the Maryland Stablecoin Act. Um, What it is, it established state level licensing and oversight framework for businesses that use or distribute payment stablecoins. These stablecoins are a digital currency that track the US dollar one to one by being tied to safe assets like US treasuries, which are like reliable um, like values in money. And it also changed the commercial bank examination fee from 15,000 to 7,000. Um, why it matters, it was made to follow up on the new regulations introduced by the Genius Act passed by Congress. It allowed Maryland to regulate stablecoins within the state by putting the Office of Financial Regulation in charge because before this legislation was passed, they didn't have any real power to control these stablecoins. And they also changed a few existing bank fees to make the new system more effective. The sponsors, the bill was filed in the House by Delegate Marlon Ampry and was cross-filed in the Senate by Senator Ben Cramer. Both bills passed each chamber unanimously. The outcome was it only really impacted business that trade or employ stablecoins, and it doesn't mu have much impact on the average Marylander. Although the passing of this bill did promote modernization towards technology, which some may see as a pro or con. But before I move on to the next slide, I wanted to explain that the fiscal notes, although it said it would have zero effect, that might be confusing because it changed the commercial bank examination fee from 15,000 to 7,000, which is like a loss of $8,000 per examination fee. But the examination fees are rare and they don't have to charge the banks that, and they can get the revenue back through the like services through the stable coins, which is why they lowered the fee to make stable coins more appealing to businesses.
All right, so the bill I chose was the House Bill 711, which is the Data Privacy Act. And this bill is a privacy bill that stops tech companies and state offices from giving personal data to like civil immigration enforcement without a search warrant. And the main reason why it is important is because of a legal loophole. As of right now, whenever you use regular phone apps or state services, tech companies collect that data and sell it, and immigration officers could just buy like your details instead of having to go to a judge and get a search warrant. And this bill fixes that by protecting sensitive data like your race, religion, citizenship, DNA, and your exact phone location so that companies can't just collect and sell it whenever they want. And to make this work, the state and local offices have to spend a small amount of money to update their software and train their staff. And also, some tech companies and law enforcement push back, saying that the extra rules and paperwork will slow things down. But supporters and sponsors say it's necessary for privacy. So ultimately, this bill was established to fix the legal loophole so that government agencies have to get a court search warrant if they want your records or location.
The bill that I picked was Senate Bill 741, which is on virtual currency kiosk regulation. Basically, this bill is an amendment of Chapter 117 of 2025 from Senate Bill 305. Basically, it reestablishes the definition of virtual currency kiosk operator and requires all operators to register their kiosks with the Commissioner of Financial Regulation and was put into effect in January 1st, 2026. So, a virtual currency kiosk, unlike normal currency kiosks like ATMs, they're specifically based on Bitcoin and they are, well, since they're virtual, they can have a lot of loopholes. So, why it matters? Athena Bitcoin kiosks, it's a moderately large company with like around 4,000 kiosks all over the US and more. And actually 93% of the deposits, which is a huge percentage, they're they were all affiliated with scams. So they were usually really targeted towards the elderly and it was just a very big problem for us. And I feel like the Senate bill fixes the problem by securing each kiosk and it fills the unclear gaps in Senate Bill 305. Um, and I think no, in the bill it specifically says how ATMs are not considered virtual currency kiosks and that they have to provide other services since they really are not the same things. And they give the operators new duties like daily transaction limits, required disclosures, dedicated kiosk use, and customer support. It really established that they really have to regulate those in order to keep the virtual currency kiosks all secure. And this bill was supported by AARP Maryland, the Office of Financial Regulation, and Senator Beadle herself. And the bill was passed unanimously 40 to 0 in Senate and 134 to 0 House. And there was really no like whiplash from this. It was just a small cost burden for small businesses since they needed to put in software updates and it just cost a little bit of money to get that running. And overall, it just protects a lot of consumers and elders.
This is a quick executive summary for those who didn't understand anything. House Bill 1355, the Stablecoin Act, set up state licensing for stablecoin companies, keeping Maryland in step with new Federal Genius Act. House Bill 711, the Data Privacy Act, it blocked companies from selling your personal data to like ICE pretty much and tightened rules around public records and police data systems. Um, Senate Bill 741, the virtual currency kiosk requires kiosks to register with the state aimed at cutting down on scams hitting elderly residents. And then the last bill that we didn't go over is the Money Transmission Act, and it freed payroll processors from money transmitter licensing, which was just a cover up from a previous bill that needed to be updated. And these four bills showed where Maryland legislators put their focus, updating financial stuff and modernizing, while also pushing back on how personal data gets weaponized. Three of the four of them passed by huge margins, highlighting the general unity and bipartisanship within the Assembly and their agreement, even though House Bill 711 was a lot more controversial than the others.